a biscuit and a stupid watch. Don't make me put a biscuit out and she get stupid watch. Since when they sell Rolex at a BB spots? Goddamn, man, I could never tell you. I ain't rolling with no fucking tools, but we come and drill you. Two styrofoam cups up, we gon' come and spill you. When the bill due, young dude, we gon' come to bill you. I pulled up to the chicken spot, got a 6-piece, one biscuit and a stupid watch. Yeah, I pulled up to the chicken spot, got a 6-piece, one biscuit and a stupid watch. I got a bad bitch, yeah, she got a stupid box. Stupid die, you ain't getting shit from me, baby, stop. Diamond rings, pearly thing, you must think I'm stupid, huh? We ain't stupid now, well educated. Filet o fish, niggas never seen the fish scale. They always talking shit, nigga, I just wish you well. Niggas want the drugs, give them quarter, flip the wish you well. Yeah, I pulled up to the chicken spot, got a 6-piece, one biscuit and a stupid watch. Silly, I pulled up to the chicken spot, got a 6-piece, one biscuit and a stupid watch. For really, yeah, I get much and plenty. Most y'all niggas still in the well, wishing for a penny. Hard away and proud, nigga choose now. When the biscuit up to your head, you better speak loud. Cause all my niggas ruthless, some of them niggas toothless. They ain't got nothing to live for, they shoot shit. And we talking about the beat, pull up to the roof, Chris. I'ma have you served well done on a toothpick. Spin around your block like a motherfucking fire spit. Nigga, we ain't camping, nah man, this shit intense. Heard you talking shit on the block, but what's your intent? Pussy nigga. Yeah, I pulled up to the chicken spot, got a 6-piece, one biscuit and a stupid watch. Bitch.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Cypher. It's episode number 38. Y'all know the vibes. We've been at this for almost a year now. Every week I'm here with my guys Sheridan and Anthony. How you guys doing? How you been this week?
Man, I'm doing all good. I'll talk while Sheridan's eating. You feel me? It's been a decent week, productive. I'm glad to be back over here with y'all. Feel like it's gonna be a good show. You done chewing? You can speak now, buddy?
Yes, sir. Kind of. Now I'm done. I had a good week. I had a really good week. I got this new Xbox. The Xbox Series X fell in my lap. I didn't wait in no lines. Not a single line. I didn't go online one time to try to sweat and put all my information in faster than everybody. Nah. Homie hit me up the other day. Actually, like yesterday. And he was like, yo, you still need one of those Xboxes? I was like, yeah. He was like, word, I just copped the extra one. I was like, okay, thank you. Sold it to me for retail.
Dang,
Shout out
I was going to ask you have to pay that, if you had to pay that tax or not. That's crazy. You're crazy for putting him on blast. Everyone going to be hitting him up like, yo, where them Xboxes at?
That dude's going to be...
He was at Walmart, bro. It was 6 a.m. He was at Walmart because he was online trying to order something else. He gets up early regardless. Saw that there were mad Xboxes in stock in store. Pulled up to the store. He's like, damn. They got like a bunch of extra ones. He called his mom, had her come cop one too. So then they had 2 Xboxes, and he was like, "I gotta get rid of one of them." So
that's fire, and
easy money.
Yeah, for sure. So that works out, bro. That works out very well.
Yeah. I'm hyped. What'd you say?
I said, what was son's name?
Nathan McCormick.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Nah, he's a goat. Nah. Let me just rewind because not fuck that guy. Fuck everybody who's reselling the Xboxes for $1,000 when there's single moms out there trying to grind to get the bread so they can buy one of them for their kids.
Are you a single mom? You just
but he didn't resell though. He didn't resell for $1,000.
So you're about to give your Xbox to a single mom?
Yeah, facts.
No.
Then why? What are you complaining about the resellers though?
Then don't resell for $1,000, you fucking hype piece. This ain't Supreme.
Bro, they gotta make the bag. They gotta make the bag. What do you mean?
Microsoft scumbags.
What about
Sony scumbags? And everybody buying into the corporations and fucking reselling that bullshit is scumbags. You're all scumbags.
What if you are a single mother taking Xboxes and selling them for $1,000? What it does?
Yeah, is that okay? Because then they're supporting. They're just hustling. Alright, bet.
I don't want to see you bozos who already can make money other ways trying to fucking scalp money out of motherfuckers for that. And you're stupid if you pay for it. You're a fucking idiot if you pay $1,000 for an Xbox or a PS5. Don't talk to me because you're fucking dumb.
I agree with that sentiment pretty heavily. But I have not had that lucky of a week where I had an Xbox just fall into my lap. But I've had a pretty decent week. I've been chilling. I've been relaxing, enjoying my time off of school and shit. But next week, we're going to take time off of the podcast, with it being the 23rd, falling the day before Christmas Eve. We're just going to relax, enjoy some time with the family, and we imagine everyone else is going to be doing that anyway on social media and whatnot. So we're going to take a break. We will be back on the 30th, though, and that's when we need you guys to have your competition episode tracks submitted. Make sure you submit any tracks by the 30th. That's the deadline. We are going to do the next competition episode on January 6th. It'll be the first episode of the new year. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Best track.
Yeah.
Make sure it's your best track. Corey's coming with the flames. I know Corey's coming with the flames. Jake Daniels said he's coming with the flames.
That's
I know somebody else who's never submitted that's coming with some flames. If y'all submit some
I'm not judging anymore. I'm coming with the flames, bro.
Yeah, if you submit some bullshit and you're one of our favorite artists, you not making the top, bro. It doesn't matter.
Nope.
You
That's
better submit your best track. It doesn't matter who you are to us, how much you show love to the podcast. Doesn't matter. Best track. If it ain't gonna make it.
He is on one today, but that's what's up. I'm happy to hear it. It's a fact. It's that breakfast. It's that breakfast. He's energized.
I hate when a great artist submits a mids track. I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
You can, and here's the thing. I understand people wanting to promo whatever they recently released, but you can do that in the comments while we're playing your best track. You know what I mean? If we're playing your best track, people are going to want to listen to whatever you just released.
Whatever you just dropped.
Jump in the comments during the competition episode if we're playing your track. Then throw out, oh yeah, and I just dropped this track 2 weeks ago. It's a way you can sort of promote two tracks at once too. So think outside the box. You definitely don't have to send what you just dropped. Send us your best track. But as Sheridan mentioned, Corey Loveless is definitely going to be sending that heat, and we are fortunate enough to have Corey on the show with us before our little vacation next week. We got our dope guest. Corey is going to be. He's if you've been with us for a while, you've seen Corey on the podcast previously, but this week it's a little bit more special because this Friday Corey is dropping a new project. Make sure you.
I thought you were gonna say it's more special because he has a new haircut and he blessed us with letting us see it.
Bro, the haircut's fire.
He's got a haircut. He's got a haircut, but this Friday he's got For Anyone, his new project that he is dropping. I'm really excited. We're gonna get a chance to talk about it. But before we get into any of that, Corey, how you doing, bro?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Chilling.
Shit, son.
Shit.
Excited here, bro.
That's a fact. So, yo, we're excited, Corey. We're excited. We're gonna get into the project here in a little bit, but before we get into that, we talk about a bunch of local music. We talk about a bunch of mainstream hip-hop information, hip-hop news, as well as I'm sure you're familiar with. You've been on the show. You've tuned into the show plenty of times. Let's talk about some of these tracks that released this week. One related to you, Dim 136 Representative King dropped his latest track, Just Getting Started. We got Thinkin' from Ryan Bronson, Golden from Cole. Nazi dropped a new video for In My Head, which is a really dope track that you need to check out if you haven't had a chance to, but the video is really great as well. We got Frozen from K Killy, Early Morning from 03 Costa, and then 38 Special dropped a mixtape called 1995, and Boldy James dropped an album called Real Bad Boldy. So a bunch of stuff dropped this week.
Nah, some dope shit, some real dope shit. Some crazy upstate, whether from like the base level, local level, to somebody like 38 Special. Stove God had a couple features drop, and that's one of my favorite upstate artists in general. It was a good week for me, man.
It was a great week, bro. So much dropped locally and not locally, bro. And like within hip hop, outside of hip hop, lots of great drops.
Yeah, that was just local that we mentioned. When you go into the industry heavyweights that dropped, it was a week. I felt spoiled for the week. One of the
craziest weeks of the year, I think.
The Kid Cudi project.
Oh my god,
man! We'll say that for later. I'm sure.
All right.
Well, like, what have you been listening to, Corey, in terms of these new projects that have dropped this week, or even maybe some of the local stuff? I know you've been listening to King's track, so.
On repeat. Yeah, that track's insane. I was here when he recorded it. I was hyped to see him working on some new stuff. He's been working on a lot. But as far as what I've been listening to, I was hyped to see that Kid Cudi project drop. I was really interested in it, especially him putting the Man on the Moon title. That was like a big cosign for me, and like a big, like that was some of his biggest moments of his career. So I assumed that this had to match that level. But and then that Jack Harlow project, and listen to that. Obviously, the 38 Special project was insane. It was a new Benny single that came out, which
that Benny track is dope.
3:30 in Houston.
Was insane. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been listening to. Just
wait, 3:30 in Houston. You think he gonna be dropping that Drake song soon then?
No, well, not. Whoa, shit. Maybe.
Talking about
He dropped a song about him getting shot in Houston.
Yeah, and so that's cool.
The name.
I want to listen to it, but it's just obviously the name fits.
Nah, yeah.
I think that's what I thought. The first thing I thought was just this is like a Drake-esque name, and I didn't even listen to it. And then somebody brought it up, and the more I thought about it, I'm like, this nigga just got shot in Houston. Like 3:30 in Houston, like that's just all it is. You feel me?
Yeah.
I'm wondering if Benny's featured on Drake's album, with Drake coming up soon, and how many features he's been doing.
I highly doubt Drake's gonna put Benny the Butcher on Certified Lover Boy. But if it was any other project, if it was any project that wasn't Certified Lover Boy, I would take it as a possibility. And maybe
you never know, yeah.
Wants to fuck people's minds up with the name, but he said he's going on a completely different way for this, that I just don't think Benny's really gonna fit.
Oh, no doubt.
Maybe, who knows? Maybe we'll see that lover boy side of Benny.
Maybe I don't know. I'm not expecting it. I definitely
Benny's
checked
about
out.
to start singing.
I checked out the new 38 Special mixtape and the Boldy James album last night because I'm, as much as I cover Upstate in terms of like the local artists, I have sort of missed out on those guys. And in tuning into those projects, I'm recognizing I've missed out on those guys because that is some great music. I'm excited to continue listening to it because there's a lot going on in Upstate. It can be very hard to cover everything. The upper level guys, the lower level guys, and everything in between. There's so much to cover, but this is some stuff that I just can't overlook because it's some great content. So,
did you got the chance to listen to Boldy's as well, or you said only 38s?
I listened to more of Boldy's, I think, than 38. So
I was gonna say, which one did you like more, because they were both great. I think
that's I would say that, and especially for me, this isn't necessarily the type of rap I listen to a lot, but that's because I didn't know where to find it. I didn't know where to look for it, especially in terms of quality that I enjoyed. So for me, this is just like a whole new realm. You know what I'm saying? So I really liked it.
This is the shit I wake up and go to bed to. So if you ever need some recommendations for music like this, bro, I'll put you on. Boldy is signed to Griselda, which is how he's affiliated to Upstate. He's actually from Detroit. Okay. And he's an older head that's been, I want to say he's 35, almost 40, but he's just now getting his real breath of fresh air in the music industry. You feel me?
He's been in the game for forever. I remember
he has projects, and he had an Earl feature in like 2014. Yeah,
exactly.
He's been in for a little bit. I'm saying now he's getting the respect that he deserves.
Oh, no doubt. Because I've known about him for a while, but hearing projects like this, I think Boldy's like a really consistent artist, and it's a shame that it's taken him this long to, I guess, get on.
Well, the thing is, Boldy is like a consistently great artist in terms of how much great music he puts out, but he didn't drop too much between like 2013 and I guess he did. He dropped 4 projects in a span of 6 years, which that's a good amount of work. I don't want to undermine it, but it's not necessarily enough to pick up traction like that. He's dropped 4 albums this year. That's that Griselda work ethic. You feel me? Like so.
Griselda's different, bro. That's and that's why almost sometimes it's hard to keep up with everything they have going on because of how much they drop. But when you get a chance to check it out, it's always fucking quality shit. So it's never a matter of them sacrificing quality to produce that much quantity. The quality is still good. It's just a lot to consume as a listener.
Do you think
how do you guys think the movie's gonna be?
We'll get into that. We'll get into the movie.
Cool. do you guys think there was a Griselda drop every month this year in terms of some type of project?
Nah. In terms of some type of song, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they dropped 12 projects this year, but I don't think it was one a month.
I think if you went back, it would be damn close though, where you would be like, dang, that, and it kind of went over everybody's head too in terms of how they did it. But they've dropped so much that I'm not confident enough to say one every month, but damn near close.
Yeah, because I feel like we've talked about a Griselda project at least every month.
Right.
Well, it depends on. I guess it might depend on what you consider Griselda. Like what I consider Griselda, Benny, Conway, Boldy, West Side, and Armani Caesar. You feel me?
So Graph isn't a part of it.
Nah, Graph isn't Griselda.
Then that makes more sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of artists that are affiliated, not actually partnered with, that they're just friends or rap with and respect. You feel me? So there's a lot of projects like that drop. In terms of Griselda's camp, probably like 8 to 10 projects this year.
That's still crazy.
Out of those mainstream tracks that dropped, and what have you been listening to?
I went through Man on the Moon and listened to whatever songs I fucked with, which weren't that many. I'm not gonna hold you, but that was first impression. I was skipping. I was cooking food and I was in a vibe. I was just skipping, and you guys are gonna kill me for this. I ended up turning off Man on the Moon to play that Jack Harlow because I needed some vibes. You feel? I needed some upbeat shit, and I'm not trying to say one's better than the other per se, because I didn't give Cuddy's the same second and third listen I did as Jack Harlow's. But I've been going back to Jack's. You feel me? Boldy's album is something I've been going really back to, but we just talked about it a little bit. That 3:30 in Houston track by Benny is gnarly. But Jack Harlow's album has been getting a lot of spins for me.
That Jack Harlow album really impressed me, and it took me a couple listens. On the first listen, I didn't necessarily get it. The more I've listened to it, the more I'm like, all right, I kind of agree with a lot of what people are saying in terms of just the way they've reviewed this or the way that they've taken this album in. The Cuddy album is really long. That's my big takeaway from it. For me personally, as a consumer, it's hard for me to listen to that. It's not a bad project at all, but it's just there's just. And I really need to sit down and get a chance to listen to it, too. I've been pretty busy since that project has dropped in terms of really getting to consume that type of album. I feel like Jack's is way easier to sit down and listen to, and you don't got to really put a lot of energy into listening to what's going on. Cuddy's is just a little bit different, where I haven't even been able to consume it in that way and necessarily give a full-on even listen to it, honestly. There are some tracks that I really, really fuck with on it. I think it's called She Knows This. That's one I really, really listen to. I've gone back to quite a few times. But it's a good project. I just don't have a good enough basis to give a good review on it. Sheridan, you really liked it, though, right?
Wait. I want to let Corey go because I got a lot to say.
But look at the other two. You said it's too long, but look at the other two Man on the Moons. Those are extremely long projects, almost like 20 tracks.
Yeah. Oh,
this one was 18, so it still fits in that same lane. I feel like he did the series justice and updated.
For sure, it's good in what it is. It's just, and even for me, probably the Man on the Moons, even the original ones were a bit long, where I have certain tracks that I go back to and I don't listen to the full projects top to bottom. That's just me as a consumer, though. I totally understand that in terms of the way it's built and put together, I can appreciate it, but I cannot listen to the project top to bottom many times because it's just so long, and there are longer tracks within that I just don't vibe with.
Oh, man.
Was there a standout track you didn't like?
Nah, I definitely couldn't say that there was one even that was bad or that I didn't like. It was just a matter of what hit for me in terms of what I did like. So
I will say this. How long do you think it's a question. How long do you think the deluxe album will be?
That's a fair question.
I don't know if there will be a deluxe.
I think that now he might, especially with just how it goes.
Yeah. And Cuddy was projected to sell about 150,000 the first week, which is a W. Don't get me wrong. That's a good amount of sales. But if you can add on to that with a deluxe, you're going to. You feel me?
I think he realized his 2 singles that he dropped weren't even on the project. I think, if anything...
I don't know if he's going to touch this. Yeah, I don't know if he's going to touch this.
Yeah. No, the track with Eminem was on the project, wasn't it?
No.
No, none of the singles. Leader of the Delinquents and the track with Eminem were not on the project, so none of the singles he released were on the project. I think if
I
he
don't think
gives
he's
us
touching this.
anything, I think if he gives us anything more, they'll just be like little random releases. But
Yeah, no, he's not putting out a
this is the
deluxe. Yeah, he's not. I'll just say I'll be very surprised if he puts out a deluxe for this. He's never put out a deluxe for Man on the Moon before. Deluxe albums have, although they're more popular now, they've been a thing for a long time, especially within his circle. I would say, here's what I'm gonna say about all these projects. Jack Harlow, first listen, dope. Man on the Moon, first listen, dope. It's not sitting with me though. Neither of them. Both of them are getting to the point where here the Cudi I'm definitely playing a lot more. Here's my thing with Jack Harlow. Super consumable. He did exactly what he needed to do with this album and more. But if I'm talking about me going back to that album, I don't listen to anything besides the Adam Levine track. I don't. And he can rap. He's got bops on it. It's just he played it very safe. I'm somebody who likes to go listen to really I'm into creative music that's going out there and kind of breaking bounds. I'm not expecting that from Jack Harlow, not at all. But I think with this album, he's not like he's doing things very well that he's always done, and he's just doing them at their best, and that's dope. I think there's a lot of room for growth with him. Just the album as a whole, I'm not like, wow, I really connect with this. I don't connect. I can't connect with the album. You know what I mean? It's me just like I'm like, this is dope, but I don't want to go back to it.
Put yourself in the shoes. This is how I look at it. Jack Harlow is a kid from a couple years ago. I've known about him for a couple years. You feel me? I've reached out to Son to feature on Colorblind. That's how long I've known about him. He did play it safe. I'm not gonna hold you. But this album, when I look at it from top to bottom, when I look at the cover art, and when I think about the past couple years as Jack Harlow, this is a way of talking about newfound fame as the underdog, while still providing casual bop after bop after bop, while amplifying your technical rap ability on every single song. And I think the track without Adam Levine is breaking a new barrier for him, not music in general. You feel me? So I do think he played it hella safe. But like we talk about with...
Well, that's why it's the only track I'm listening to, though.
But that's why we talk about that with everybody, bro. Baby, like Da Baby, Lil Baby, excuse me. Like, you find a flow that people gravitate towards and accept, and you have to capitalize.
He threw a bunch of different flows on that. It's not really what I'm saying.
It's his sound, not necessarily his flow. This is his sound that works for him right now that he has to run with. Until it doesn't, I'm sure he could switch it up, especially with this project.
I would have liked to hear, so like as much as I feel like he did showcase his technical rap ability quite a bit, I would have rather heard him really focus on that and then have that one or two hits in there, like the Adam Levine track and the Chris Brown track. I felt like on some of the tracks where he was just rapping, like even I didn't even love the intro track. Like the intro track's cool, but it's not like, it's definitely one of my least favorite on the track list. I don't know. It's for me, it's less about what he did, because he did a lot, and more about what he didn't do that I didn't expect him to do. It's just like Jack Harlow isn't somebody that I'm gonna be like, yo, this shit connects with me. I really feel this music and I want to go back and listen to it. Kid Cudi is someone like that, and here's my problem with his album. He didn't show any. If any, he didn't show growth. Like I really don't think he showed much growth at all. Which is fine with me. I felt like he took a lot of what he did on the original Man on the Moons, tried and mixed it with Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying, and kind of the stuff that he's been doing recently, which is dope. But he really just infused them. He didn't like create a new sound out of that. Yeah. I think in general, I don't have a problem with the length necessarily. But there's songs like, I don't know, like Elsie's Baby Boy that I'm just like, all right, dude, like we get it. And the production is amazing. There's a lot of songs that I tweeted the other day. Some of the songs bring me to a whole other stratosphere. I'm loving like the sonic appeal. I'm loving the messaging in a lot of these songs. He's really one of the only artists that I can listen to being so positive and talking about like making himself better and stuff like that. That I don't. Most people make me, bro. I'm like, ugh, gross. I'm cringing. Like, stop. Kid Cudi's
Yeah.
Kid Cudi's the only one that can do it that like doesn't make it corny. It's still a vibe and it's still a great song. He brings it to the point where he's mixing this, and this album's very creative. Don't get me wrong. It's just not unique to his other music. So if I compare this album,
the man has created like a whole sound though.
Yeah.
Like how can you have that expectation on him again?
If I'm comparing that to like Man on the Moon 1 or 2 or Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying or like really any of my favorite Cudi projects,
Right.
It's a dope album, but it's not stacking up against those. That's where I really realized I was like, damn, I love this album. This is amazing. And I was like, okay, how is it sitting next to these other albums though?
That's a fair comparison. And that's a tough comparison too, because when you make such great bodies of work in the past, it's very tough when you name something or continue on with a series. You're then automatically compared to it, and it's just tough to compare to.
Swift.
So yeah, and Sheridan was disappointed in that one as well.
Yeah, she had that sister album, The Folklore, and it's cool. It's got some really dope songs.
Yo, we're gonna cut off your Taylor Swift rant this week.
Please do.
Fetty Wap album fire. Fetty Wap album fire.
Fetty Wap album fire. I got an interesting topic that I want to get y'all's opinion on. So we're gonna move on a little bit from the music that dropped this week and talk about Lil Wayne selling his masters. He sold his masters for $100 million. This actually happened in June, but it's just coming to light now because his former manager is suing him for $20 million and alleging that he then would have the funds to pay for his former management. So this is based on a deal with UMG. What do you guys think? Do you think this has anything to do with the legal situation Wayne got himself into at the end of last year, pushing him maybe to make this sale this year? And what is your thoughts on the sale at all? Selling for $100 million, if you owe your manager $20 million, that's a rough sale, bro.
It's a rough sale regardless. If I'm Lil Wayne, I'm never selling my masters, especially not for $100 million. You show me 500, maybe, but still. That's just I don't know what's going through Wayne's head. There may be stuff that's going on that he's making a smart move, but lately I haven't seen him make a lot of smart moves. So I don't expect that. I don't understand Wayne. I can't pretend to understand Wayne. Since watching him in interviews for years and years and years now, he's a very weird, peculiar, unpredictable dude. I'm kind of just at the point where I have no idea, and I'm gonna wait and see. I hope it works out for him because he's one of the GOATs, one of the best rappers of all time, one of the best artists of all time, and one of my favorites. So I hope it works out for him, and I hope he stops being like Trumpy and shit because that's mad weird. But other than that, I don't know, dude. He's unpredictable as hell.
Business-wise, Lil Wayne has barely ever made a good move. I mean, he got fucked by Birdman, and then we're just doing this. But I mean, I was talking about this with JJ, especially like with his legal shit going down. I think potentially Lil Wayne might not have as much money as we think he should, and when it comes down to, if he's going to jail for a certain period of time, he might need to leave some money behind or have some.
Yeah, I definitely think that plays into it a big thing. And I think Wayne probably is not as well off as he should be, just based upon, like you said, the contract situations he got himself tied up with Baby and stuff early on. It's a bad mixture for just how things move on. Now, this manager, too, who is suing him is apparently the one who got him out of that deal, or not that deal, but a deal that was screwing him by Baby. So it's interesting that he then got himself out of one bad situation, is now in a situation where he owes that management $20 million. Just sold his masters for $100 million, and that's the thing that is very crazy to me, because I agree with Sheridan. $100 million for someone like Lil Wayne seems like extremely cheap. Like, that is an insane discount. But I guess it would vary on maybe he doesn't own a whole lot of the masters that people want.
Yeah.
So
we talked about this in the group chat for a little bit, and that's something that I was trying to highlight, is that we don't know if Wayne sold 100%, or well, he sold 100% of his masters, but we don't know if he owned 100% of his masters. So he could have sold 100% of his masters, being 20% of his masters for $100 million. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
It definitely has something to do with the legal trouble, but at the same time, Wayne has dropped a couple albums and 5 mixtapes in the past couple years, and he's less relevant than ever. You feel me? Maybe he's knowledgeable and conscious of his decline. I'm not sure how he's streaming on the regular these days, but I'm sure it's still bringing in money. And I know he has tracks and features, projects that'll collect him revenue for the rest of his life. Not anymore. So it really is dependent on whatever he's going through. Personally, it's hard for local artists, people that haven't made $10,000 off of music, being like, I would never sell for $100 million. You feel me? That's the easy answer, but
Right.
it really all depends on whatever his situation is. Because I've seen a lot of different things. Like maybe Wayne had an investment he needed $50 million for up front. That's gonna bring him.
I don't know about all that with Lil Wayne. I think that's giving him a lot of credit.
Bro,
You don't think Lil Wayne is investing?
I think I don't know if he's the smartest investor. I think Wayne is in a position right now where he is tight on money. He needs to get money, and you can look at the Dat Piff release as something of that too, where I'm sure he got money to release that exclusively on Dat Piff from them to put that project out. And I feel like he's doing a lot of things right now where normally he might just be touring, but he can't tour because of the pandemic. So he's got to get a bag as quickly as he can ahead of this whole legal situation where he has pled guilty and will likely end up having to do jail time for it. So it's all very crazy to me. It's super unfortunate that someone.
That's the only decline I see. I don't really feel like Wayne's on the decline. I feel like he has kept it up better than pretty much anyone who's been around as long as him.
Do you think he wants to though?
Hold up.
He's going to jail.
Hold up, just I need Sheridan.
No, but that's a real question. Because
Wayne is not on the decline.
he definitely.
There's a in terms of like quality of music, or in terms of like being streamed.
Either one, I feel like.
In terms of sales, in terms of quality of music, in terms of people reaching out to you to be the feature on their hit song. Now, Wayne is on the decline, bro. There's no question about it.
I think he's still really popular.
I agree to an extent, but like the decline's like that. Like it's like nothing, bro. It really ain't shit. He's got more monthly listeners than most people at their peak.
But that doesn't mean it's not a decline. You feel me? That does not mean that it's not a decline. The streaming.
Well, no, what I'm saying is, yeah, he may be on a very slight decline, but he's still doing just as well, and he could be doing better if he put out another great album. The only thing that's going to stop him is going to jail.
Eminem probably has more listeners than person at their peak, but just dropped his 2 worst albums of his whole fucking career. So, I mean,
Kamikaze and Music to Be Murdered By are his 2 worst albums of his career.
Revival was, and I mean, Kamikaze and Music to Be Murdered By were just.
But this man has dropped albums like the Shady XV.
I think Wayne and Eminem are good comparisons, though, in terms of the fact that quality of music has definitely fallen off. But I think that Eminem he's more popular, way more popular than.
There's no question about it. Wayne cannot drop an album right now and go number 1. It's not happening. He would have to like really honestly try hard and promote it. You got eye-roll. You can do it.
It depends on the competition that week, but there's a good chance it probably wouldn't. If he had even the slightest competition, I don't think he's going number 1. I think Wayne versus Jack Harlow. Jack Harlow's going 1.
Ooh, that's crazy. But I think you're right.
That we could pull from, bro. That we can have a sample size. Like Wayne barely broke the internet with a No Ceilings 3. We're talking about Man on the Moon 3.
Sheridan, did you go back and listen to No Ceilings 3 at all? Did you even go?
It's on fucking Dat Piff, dude.
That's so.
Exactly. if No Ceilings
If he was popular enough, people would go to that shit, bro. If Eminem dropped something on Dat Piff,
then no one know. Bro, if I asked anyone my sister's age what Dat Piff was, they would be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
if Eminem dropped on there, they'd find out.
Bro, like
no,
any of my
they wouldn't.
Right
if
now,
Eminem dropped, they would be like, "Who? What? Like what?" No.
If any of my favorite rappers right now dropped a project on Dat Piff, I would be like, "What the fuck are you doing? I'm not listening to this on Dat Piff. I'm not opening up that app, bro."
Nah, I only use Dat Piff to listen to Lil Tracy.
Bro,
Wayne's last album went #1 on the hip hop. Funeral went #1 on the rap Billboard charts. I'm talking about Wayne was going #1 on Billboard in general at one point of his career.
He could do that again. He could easily do that again. He puts a Drake feature, Young Thug feature, Travis Scott feature, and another feature.
There's no doubt he can't do it. He can't do it alone. Like, and I think that's the point. That's the point of his.
Who has a #1 album alone?
Wayne did at one point in his career. He can no longer do that. I just told you.
He had no features on his album.
He had features, but he got #1 off the strength of his name, not their name. Now he would get #1 off the strength of other people's names, and that's where his popularity has fallen off.
Like Wayne can go #1 whenever he wants.
Before adding those artists helped elevate those artists. Before it was about elevating the other artists on his albums or being at the same level of the other artists. Now it would very much be about Drake pulling his numbers up, or Young Thug, or Trav, or whoever he were to work with. Or you could even say the XXXTentacion feature that he got was him trying to pull numbers from a different spot that he's not generally getting numbers from. So I think even that is a testament to his popularity falling in general. I think people who really, really vibed with Wayne a long time ago still vibe with him. But I think the younger audience is not checking for him as much because they have been disappointed enough times to be like, there's too much to go through to find the good shit. He still has good music in there, but you have to sift through some bullshit because Wayne just gets in the booth and starts rapping.
All I know is I have not heard any Eminem song played by anyone in the last 7 years. Well, and I hear Uproar
in like a week.
I hear Uproar still played. Well, nah, it's Corona, but before Corona, Uproar was still being played at clubs and at parties and everything.
So that's the Lord Jabbar explanation right there. Who sold more of their last album? Who charted on more different singles on their last album? Who is always going to be able to drop? And granted, part of this is that white privilege aspect.
I was just going to say that.
But that's a thing. You feel me? Wayne benefits more than maybe any black man in history in terms of rap music with white fans. But at the same time, a lot of black people turned on Lil Wayne because it seems like he turned his back on us. You feel me? Like a lot of people in my demographic that were bumping, or a lot of my best friends, Wayne was our favorite rapper in middle school. These niggas haven't brought him up in a decade. I'm going to listen to whatever he drops, and I still haven't listened to No Ceilings 3 in totality. But Wayne drops an album, I'm there. I'm going to listen to all of No Ceilings 3, and I'm going to go check it out whenever I want in my leisure. But that doesn't mean everybody else is.
And Wayne has a lot of fans at this point who are probably like that, where they're like, at my leisure, I'm going to check it out. I still fuck with Wayne. I'm still going to check it out. But there's so much going on in music that is more entertaining or more popular that you're checking out that Wayne just kind of keeps getting pushed to the side. Wayne is like the old toy, man, where you really liked listening to his music, you really enjoyed it, and you're going to go back to it one day when you're done messing with your new Xbox that fell into your lap. It's like... And that's just kind of how it works. So I think that Wayne is definitely still very popular, and many artists would kill to be at that level of popularity. But it is undoubtable that he is on the decline.
I think that we're missing...
I'm not saying...
You don't drop on that piff unless you're on the decline.
I feel like we're missing a greater conversation in this, though, about how predatory the music industry really is. As Wayne came in as just a fucking kid, and these contracts that he signed when he was 15 years old have followed him up until adulthood. So when we talk about like the situation that just happened with Tiana Taylor, she posted that she did 200 million streams and only got 4K back from her label because they took so much. That's why we're seeing something like this. Someone
That
like
would make
Wayne,
that,
like
oh
one
man.
of those legendary series of mixtapes drop, and probably one of the best discographies in music, and he still has to feel the need to be relevant, post music, do all of this because he still needs the money. And then even after all of that, it has to go and sell his masters to label.
And that's even a larger testament about the predatory nature, because there was definitely someone in the label who was like, yeah, we got a fucking deal here. Like this is a steal. This is easily such a good deal. And so that's where, like, I agree with you 100%. And to the Tiana Taylor thing, like, I couldn't even imagine. I would be ready to retire too if I did that many streams and only recoup
and she
that.
can't tour. $4 grand. That's crazy.
So, it's 100% true, and that's a good point to bring up now, because Wayne was 15 however long ago. I don't know exactly how old he is, 20, 30 years ago. This is still happening today because Tiana Taylor's still dealing with it today. Like, if you're an artist today, you're not all of a sudden, shit hasn't changed. You still got to be careful. 100% do what you got to do in terms of, because as Ant has said, and as I've heard many times, like, when you're a lower level artist and that deal's put in front of you, it's a whole different game. Like, that's a whole different world of shit you've never seen before. For some artists, you've come up from literally nothing. So to see even $20,000 put in front of you seems like life-changing. You got to take a second and really, really think about this shit and look at the history of it and just make the best decision for you, because this shit is predatory. But it's also very, very easy to say that from the outside looking in.
Let me say this. I was talking to my boy yesterday, and I saw a rather unofficial breakdown of estimates of how Jay-Z came across his $1 billion. The breakdown between investments and what came through music. Just take a guess. I want to hear all three of y'all guess. How much money out of $1 billion do you think Jay-Z got from music specifically?
Well,
I think it's like 15
this is a
million.
different conversation with Jay-Z, because Jay-Z went from, a record label that was owned by Def Jam to moving to the CEO of Def Jam and signing himself his own masters.
But bro, that's exactly my point. That's why I'm bringing this up.
He makes more money off of music than anybody else, because he had the fortune and luxury of being able to have a major label push at a very, very pivotal moment in his career, while also owning his own masters. So I think that he has a very different career than anybody in the hip hop industry. So
after saying that, how much of $1 billion do you think came from his music, knowing that he owns the majority of his masters and had?
So when I said,
still probably not a lot.
When I said how much from his music, I'm not counting him owning labels or anything. I'm talking about just making off of his music. So that's why I said 15 mil. If you're talking about Def Jam and shit like that, music in general,
Joe, his music career, music output, the royalties he may get from other people's songs, touring, merch, concerts.
I saw the post, but I don't remember how much was it.
I saw the post too.
I'd be surprised if it's more than 5%, knowing that he.
Well,
it's all from
over 5%.
Yeah.
It was between 5 and 10%. It said about 75 million out of $1 billion was generated off of a 20-year career.
And
so
Duce is only like third, I think.
What'd you say?
Duce is only third, I think, for him.
But Duce made him much more than music ever did.
So much more.
Like, Jay is a billionaire because of his ventures. Eminem has hundreds of millions of dollars that he could pull from because he's sponsored by fucking everybody, putting his money. There's rappers that have aged gracefully music-wise, but have also allocated their funds. Chamillionaire has over $50 million right now at his leisure, and he's going to be making more money for the rest of his life. You feel me? Wayne, I'm not sure if he necessarily mismanaged his money completely or if somebody else completely fucked him. But for him to sell a 20-year discography for $100 million, knowing that Jay-Z hasn't potentially made $100 million off of strictly music in his career, I think that puts things in a little bit of a different perspective. And that's why I brought up the investment thing for Wayne earlier, because even if he's going to need a lot of this for life. But if he puts 20-30 million into specific investments that are good for him, financially advised, while he's locked up for X amount of years, he could come out to more money than he's had in a long time.
He should do that. I have very little faith that someone who is in a position where they have to sell their masters for 100 million is all of a sudden doing it to make the bright decision after all these years of not necessarily making the bright decisions. I think, and with Jay, like, it is just a whole different territory, but also a testament of why we come up here and talk about artists just doing different shit besides just your music. Like, try different merch runs, try different ways to promote yourself, make a podcast, become a streamer. If you play a lot of video games, stream the video games you play. Like, do what you're doing in music, but also do different outlets, because as you can see, the ones with the greatest success don't just focus in on the music. They might get their popularity or notoriety from the music, but they really start focusing in and making real money off of other shit. So
when Lil Yachty, like the first year Lil Yachty came out, he was like top 20 on the Forbes hip hop list, bro. He was making bread and not even really making any of it off of music. It was all doing like Sprite commercials and merch deals, and he was really smart with what he did. He did a whole Target song. He did a song for Target.
Travis Scott's bag this year is gonna be fucking
crazy.
Oh man,
I think the situation with Yachty, it comes down to having a good team behind you. But I think
he's smart though himself.
Yeah, he's a smart kid.
Oh, no doubt. But I also think that he has a great management team and group of advisors and people that knew how to bring him and market him correctly. Like, QC is a great label. Like, Migos did same shit. Like, they're
we can't. I know this. You didn't just say this, but we can't act like Wayne wasn't pitched correctly and sold correctly.
No. And this is what I'm saying. And this is what I'm saying is that I think people, like, when we talk about a Jay-Z situation, like, Jay-Z is built different with like a business sense. You know what I mean? Like, brand deals and shit are way different than taking your money and owning companies and building whole brands outside of music. I think Lil Wayne would have to look around like who's around him to give him the correct advice and education to do shit like that. Somebody like Hov is just built different. Like, they just understand that.
Hov was rich before he came into the game. He was rich before he ever touched a rap dollar. You feel me?
He has a type of motivation that to get money that I think could be unmatched.
I think Hov dropped his first album at like 27, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think Hov was like 26, 28 when he dropped his first project. And for him to just, I don't know, maintain this type of success after that is ridiculous and a testament to him. I hope Wayne's doing better than we just gave him credit for, because the chances are he's not. He's doing bad right now between the charges and these financial positions. He might be, but I don't want to just. I can't cross off 100 million off bat as if it's a horrible deal. We would just like to think that because we want to act like Wayne is going to generate more than that over time. You assume so, but we don't have that.
Well, and like, and even from the perspective of like, and this might be a tough comparison to make, but Taylor Swift's career has been much shorter than Wayne's. And she sold her masters for $300 million. Well, she didn't sell her, but her masters were sold for $300 million. It's again, she's a pop star. But Wayne very much was crossing into the pop realm at specific points and was a huge star as well. So it's a tough comparison, but also it's a fair comparison to say, people recouped 3 times that for a different style of artist music. So I think that's where a lot of it comes into play too, is just her that news is still so fresh in the news cycle as well with music.
I think that's a lot of what makes this look so bad. Mm-hmm. Feel me? If Taylor Swift
and if you break it down into realistic perspective, it's not fair to make that comparison. But when you on a base level, it's easy to make that comparison because they're both superstars.
And we spent mad long on this topic, but this is just one thing that I think will also bring a somewhat of perspective. Like Corey said earlier, 200 million streams garnered $4,000. So how many streams are you going to need for 100 million, especially on one of those old contracts that they probably haven't had? He has to renegotiate things. Tiana has an updated contract to the streaming era. Wayne probably has to get his shit updated, or his contract doesn't have the same percentages because I don't know this for a fact, you feel me? But he could still be getting rates and conversions that are 10 years old, 5 years old. I mean, for you to get 200 million and get $4,000 from it, I don't know how many streams you have to get for 10 or 100 million, but it's not happening.
Well, I do think that's a matter of too, like Wayne's been fucked before, so his restructured deal probably takes that into account, or his new management would take that into account, you would hope. So, and Tiana's deal probably was signed where she had very little leverage.
I know you can't. You're
so
right.
So Wayne would probably get way more than 4,000 for that many streams, but it is a good point to make nonetheless. We do have other topics to get to. We spent a little while on this one, like Ant said. The next topic we talked about a little bit already. We talked about Benny the Butcher and how he dropped 330 in Houston. This is the lead single off of the Conflicted soundtrack. Conflicted is going to be a movie dropped through Griselda Films that's dropping on January 15th, I believe, through pay-per-view services. I'm really excited for this. I hope that the excitement for it and buzz that it's getting can get it picked up by a streaming service so it can be easily accessible to everyone, because it has a really dope trailer. I'm excited for it, and Griselda trying different things and doing something different is very much what we just talked about in terms of the Jay-Z situation. Like, this is a group of artists who are not just making music. Yeah, they've made a ton of music this year, but as you can see, they're dropping a movie, they're doing all kinds of merchandise shit. Like,
Westside Gunn is one of the best business-minded people in all of hip-hop right now. I can't champion Son enough. For the more I delve into Griselda as a whole, the more I see how important he is into the whole equation. He is phenomenal, and the mind he has on it. He wants to run the world. He wants to run the music industry. He wants to run the fashion industry. There is no ceiling in what he thinks is possible. And he was talking about doing a movie for a while now. So to see it come into fruition so soon is nuts. I have faith in them. I'm sure it'll be a good movie. I won't be surprised if it's not a good movie, because this isn't something that I put too much pressure on him for. If it does well, that's fucking amazing. I would love to see it.
If it's not a good movie. But I'd also be surprised if it does well.
I agree with both of those statements, because the trailer's been out since June, so they've been working on this. Like, it's not something that they necessarily just, it is tough to say too with the pandemic and whatnot. Like, how easy was it to put this together? But
doing well is relative. I mean, doing well in a grand scheme. Doing well for him, I'm sure it will do well for them. Like, I'm sure it will grow their fan base. Yeah.
But also, like Andrew said, it could get picked up by a streaming company.
That would be crazy.
But it could be. I think it could be a bad movie. But if it's one of those like hood gritty classic tales, kind of cheesy, low budget, but still fire, you know what I mean? We all know one of those type of movies. I could see some streaming companies giving them a big bag for that, and that'll be just pioneering shit for rappers in general. I think a lot more will start trying to do that. You feel me?
And I think that they didn't half-ass this in terms of the production quality and stuff, at least from what I could see. It looks like they really went as hard as they possibly could in terms of putting together good production. It seems like a really interesting story. And they're also, like, going out of their way to put on Buffalo in general. I think they shot this whole film in Buffalo. That's an idea that Benny and them and Westside were pushing heavily, is the fact that other artists have went and filmed movies in their city and helped show those cities. This is them helping show what Buffalo is. And I think that's a real interesting take on it as well. And I think just from the upstate New York scene, it'll get a lot of buzz, and that will transition elsewhere. But I've seen it covered by a lot of notable publications, too, that I think this could perform relatively well, where then, like I said, it gets picked up by a streaming service. If it ends up on Hulu or Netflix or even Amazon Prime, anything like that, it's a great move. And I think it really, really could, because hip-hop is so popular in the mainstream, because they are popular and growing as artists, and because it's going to be a good movie, I think. I think it's going to be entertaining.
Yeah. I think this could be a big year for Buffalo in general. I mean, the football team's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo
There's lots of artists going crazy right now. Like, I think this could be Buffalo's year.
That's a
if
fact.
it wasn't already, you feel me? Like Buffalo has been doing amazing. I'm just so proud of Upstate as a whole. So many talented artists out here grinding, and not just on the base local level. The ones that we be covering. Sometimes we don't give all the roses we could to the bigger names here. You feel me? But we all see y'all grinding, and it's nothing but the deepest love.
Yeah, dude, and so I'm honestly excited because I like these type of movies as well. So just to get a movie like this with relatable faces in the hip hop game, I'm excited to check it out. I'll probably check it out within the week that it drops for sure.
Easy.
Mm-hmm.
But
The only thing is how difficult it's going to be to purchase it or watch it. You know what I mean? If it's as simple as pulling it up on my cable box, okay, that's easy. Or pulling it up even online, if I could pay to view it online, simple. But if it is strictly cable too, that might be a little tough because I don't know how many people are still. There's a lot of cord cutters out there. So
yo, you know what would actually be crazy? Say like, first of all, couple points. If you get 50% or more of the monthly listeners that you have tuning into your music to get to watch this movie, it's over. You broke boundaries. You feel me? It's gonna be crazy. It won't be seen like this since 50 Cent was making video games and shit. That's the only thing I could really compare that to if it's truly successful. Second, if they can make a movie like Belly at all, and not like Belly in sense of like the story, but if they can pull off that rapper hood tale, drugs, and show the side of their environment, you know it's gonna perform in Buffalo. Every fucking body and their mother is gonna be watching it. You feel me? And word of mouth travels like a motherfucker. If that movie is like a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, then that shit's gonna do well.
Yep.
I promise you. And I think that knowing how business acumented they are, seeing their ability to capture a specific era or time in their music, I have full faith they will in the film. If they sold this independently like they do their merch, their shirts and shit, if they just sell a download link on their website for $20, you get 50,000 people to cop it. That's wild.
Mm-hmm. And they've already established that over time too. Just people going to their site and buying stuff. So having that established there and having people knowing that people will go and type in their credit card information, do what they got to do to pay for merchandise, they will easily do it then for something that they can download and watch right away. So I hope that's the way they do it, and I'm excited, like I said, for it to come out. And it's cool that there's not a lot of time between now and when it releases. I'd be hyped still if I'd been waiting since June. But the fact that it's only a month away from me, I'm really excited. So they definitely got something dope here.
Oh yeah.
Dope. I can't wait for them to come out with a video game next.
When you said that, I was like, that's up next, 100%. And I wouldn't doubt it because of how much Westside Gunn is involved, and he's big in the wrestling community too. So I could see him honestly putting together a pro wrestling game. Yeah,
he could do West Side on the Joe Budden podcast, and not just there. He's said it many times throughout his career. He wants to be the head of Def Jam. He vowed that if he got to be the head of Def Jam again, he'd have everybody rocking Def Jam clothing. He'd had the video games back. The label would be relevant again, and
he's someone I believe could honestly do something like that.
No doubt, bro. I would be rocking Def Jam. Their merch lines are fucking crazy.
I was gonna say it don't take long for you to once they start promoting something, it don't take long for people to just want to buy it because they it's not because of them necessarily, but it's because they fuck with cool shit. So because they fuck with cool shit, when you see it, you're like, oh yeah, that's cool. And it just keeps growing from there. I bought a couple of Westside Gunn hoodies a couple weeks ago when he threw them up on a flash sale because they do stuff like that too where it's only available for a certain amount of time. You got to rush and get it. So they just have cool shit that I'm excited about. So yo, Sheridan, you good over there, bro?
I almost just fucking smashed my rig. That would have been crazy.
Dang, that would have been a moment. There was
like exclusive.
Yeah, the Upstate.Aesthetic exclusive. I didn't have the exclusive on this next topic, but it's an interesting topic. I don't know how long we're going to spend on it. But have you guys heard about the Clubhouse app? It's a new app for cell phones and stuff. It's a new social media app. But it's invite only. So that's why a bunch of hip hop artists are using it to connect with their fans and other artists. This week there were some videos that hit social media, and it featured Akademiks talking to a number of artists: 21 Savage, Meek Mill, Lil Yachty, Tory Lanez, and more. I actually have a short clip that I'm going to play of 21 Savage, just dropping a little bit of knowledge on everybody. So I'm going to play a minute and a half clip, and then we're going to talk about it. But the app is really cool. It's just a matter of they're not letting anybody in. So we'll play this clip and get to that.
Or let me in.
A list of your regrets and shit, bro. But at the end of the day, bro, all this internet shit is new to all of us. So we all just learning as we go. We ain't never been in these times where, like, it's cool. It's so cool to kill, and it's so cool to beef. Shit ain't never been like this. So all the niggas saying is, bro, we all attribute to that. Whether we want to admit it or not, we all play some part in the way shit is nowadays, because we all are the people that profit off of it. You just got to start showing that you give a fuck and that you want to change too. Because a nigga like me, I could rap about what I rap about and never do nothing and just be like, man, I don't give a fuck, whatever, and just live my life. But I have a heart, bro. And at the end of the day, I know you got a heart because I know you. So I know you don't go to sleep at night and just be like, fuck it. So with that being said, just display that, bro. Let's try and do shit better. We ain't telling you to stop posting beef, because you not posting beefs ain't gonna end no beefs at the end of the day. And you ain't starting beefs. You just putting a light on. You putting a light on beefs that don't need a light put on them, because if that light is on them beefs might disappear. If a nigga say something to me and it's 50 niggas around, and if a nigga say something to me and it's one nigga around, I might react a different way. If it's one nigga around and you do some disrespectful shit, I might just holler at you. But if it's 50 niggas around, it might be a nigga around me that don't want to do no talking. So
that was an interesting clip, and this stems off of the situation where a lot of artists were just sort of coming at Akademiks and the way he promotes stuff, the way he promotes the dramas in Chicago and other places where there's a lot of gang violence, a lot of violence in general. What's your take, I guess, on the situation of just Akademiks and the way he covers stuff? And then I guess we could talk about the app too, because I think the app is cool. But we should talk about the drama first.
What you think about it, Corey?
I think it's a really similar situation to what we talk about with Vlad. I think Akademiks can just exacerbate situations, but I don't know, man. I don't fuck with Akademiks at all.
That's Sheridan's boy. Wait, go ahead. Put your cape on, bro.
I also fucking can't stand Akademiks. I don't know why Andrew always calls him my boy. But I think this is a healthy conversation to be having, and I don't like.
You would have had to hear the whole thing before you were saying it's healthy, because Meek Mill got in there and sounded very unhealthy and some of the dumb shit he was saying. But it's like an hour.
No, I wasn't. Well, I was just saying this specifically of what I just heard sounds like a healthy conversation, and like I would rather like Akademiks become a better person that doesn't do that type of shit than him just like not do anything anymore. Like, I don't know. Like, I would and like just sulk and like still be a piece of shit. I don't know. Like, I'd rather have someone talk to him like that, where that's like kind of trying to explain to him in like a eye to eye way, like instead of like talking down. I think that's really the only way you can like get through to someone like that. If you talk down, then that kind of like, bro, I mean, I think of it like me. If I'm doing something wrong and someone talks down to me, I'm gonna do it more. That's just how, like right. whether I know it's wrong or not, like, because it's pissing me off. Like, okay, you're gonna talk to me like that, bet. Like, And
I think that's a good point. That could be a big part of what helps actually change. I think it's tough, especially like I think I have a good perspective from this too, as the blogger, the website guy of Upstate Aesthetic. It's tough to avoid not covering the drama. There's only so much drama from a local scene you can cover, but to not be the place that's covering artist arrests or stuff like that, because. Yeah. At the end of the day, that's the stuff that generates clicks a lot more than, oh, so-and-so is dropping a track. But I have made it a point just to not get into that. If that's not how I get clicks, fine. I got to find my way a different way. Because the one time that I posted drama, beef between two artists, I just felt stupid for it. Yeah, it got me more attention. But when I actually talked to the artist who was like, yo, what the fuck is going on? I was like, I get it, because especially on this level, on Akademiks level, I also understand that that's what gets you that much that much notoriety. If you stop posting that shit, and they mentioned it in their conversation, if he stops, people ain't gonna pay attention to what he's got going on. If it's no more drama and just him talking about music, it's 50-50. They would have never checked him out to begin with. Now that he has the platform, he has an opportunity where he can shift it. There are people who listen to what he says and will just listen to Akademiks interview so-and-so. But he had to utilize clickbait to get to that level. And I think as a creator, you have to then change. Like, it's almost like an addiction. It's like you got to that place by being addicted to one thing, and it's almost scary to transition. I'm sure as artists you guys can relate just in terms of sound. Like, oh, okay, I'm popular off of this sound. I don't want to try something different. His sound is the drama. And I get people's issue with that because it has accentuated stuff and put stuff in the limelight where, like 21 Savage said, if only one person knew about this, maybe I would handle it a different way. But now the whole internet knows, so I'm going to go shoot somebody. And I get that point too.
No, of course. I mean, Akademiks does a great job of perpetuating beef in places that he wouldn't be caught dead in. You feel me? And when you talk about covering rap beefs, or when you talk about covering music or the drama, that's a little bit different than doing a whole series about deaths and gang rivalries in a city like Chicago. You feel me? Where essentially you're calling people that have died or killed somebody due to gun violence coons, and man, he was going ham on him. He was disrespecting the dead and disrespecting people that are probably going to be spending the rest of their life in prison. I think 21 Savage did a great job of admitting fault, because I think that makes this whole thing resonate a little bit more. If he was just going to sit there and blame Akademiks without admitting what he or his peers may do in the music industry or outside of the music itself, to perpetuate a similar type of cliche, because violence is heavily prevalent in somebody like 21 Savage's style. It's predicated off that. You feel me? DJ Akademiks would fade into a little hole if he didn't do stuff like this. And he's a rich dude. Like, he has money. He never moved out of his mom's basement. He's been stacking everything he has. He'll always have money from YouTube. But he's trying to get more. I'm sure he does not want to fade away just now. He wants to be good for life. I think the DJ Akademiks situation is a little bit different than DJ Vlad, because DJ Vlad does a better job of separating his emotional bias in situations or straight up clowning the people he's covering. He will clown you outside of it, and he will be disrespectful, but it's in a completely different light.
And that's a big problem with Act 2, is he lets it cross into that territory of you should be covering just stuff, but because you have a personal vendetta against this artist or that artist, you just go out of it and go about it a different way to try and bring beef along. So, and to the point of the early stuff Act did too, it's tough because I get the issue with it, but I also get that type of shit is what got him popular. Without that type of shit, we probably have no idea who he is. And
I found out about DJ Akademiks because he made a video of an Ithaca rapper, believe it or not, just straight clowning him. And for a situation that I'm not sure what he actually had to do with it, but a fake Def Jam contract ended up coming about. Dude said he was getting X amount of money, or the contract said he was getting X amount of money for X amount of projects. He posted it to his social medias. Came out that the contract itself was fake. DJ Akademiks picked up on the story, dropped the video. probably had 100-something thousand views. That was my initial introduction to DJ Akademiks. I've been following him ever since, but because he does funny little emotional like rants, it crossed a threshold at a certain point where it was like, whoa, this is getting a little much. And I didn't realize it until people started calling him out from the places that they have to live with the everyday variables that he's covering. And he's pouring gasoline on an open flame while staying 1,000 miles away, knowing he would never go to Chicago. He would never even go to Illinois. He won't go to some parts of Cali. He feels like he's safe because he's okay. He's not going to go in these dangerous situations. And he's probably okay with getting smacked. You feel me? And he's not okay with losing his life, but I'm sure he would take an ass whooping for some of the hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars he's getting. You feel me? He has to think that that's coming, especially with the people he chooses to engage himself around. All of the rappers that have known about DJ Akademiks have met with him. They've had relationships or lack of relationships. You know who he gravitated towards? 6ix9ine. You feel me? I think that's
why that's your boy, Sheridan.
The only person that was cool with bringing DJ Akademiks around and chilling with them and putting them in videos and having fun was 6ix9ine. I think that says everything that you've ever needed to know about him as a person, as a blogger. It's come out that he's an alcoholic that struggles with mental health issues. I'm sure he has a lot of mental health issues right now. Just like 21 Savage says he can't go to bed without thinking about that. He hopes his peers can't. DJ Akademiks probably, he has some demons that he battles. It's never going to be more than the money, though, to him. I think Savage did a great job, and it resonated with me. I hope it does with Akademiks as well.
Yeah, I think that's a big point too. Is just that Savage did do such a great job at addressing the situation, and I think he probably educated a lot of people in that room, and that's why Clubhouse is an interesting thing, just because there were so many different artists in there. Meek Mill, like I said, Lil Yachty, Tory Lanez. Meek was kind of making a clown of himself, and it's interesting because he's the one who's pissed off now that these videos hit social media. He was irritated. He said, "Oh, we've been on Clubhouse for months talking to people, connecting with fans, and this is the first time videos have hit social media." That's a lie. I've seen videos of Drake and other people on Clubhouse too. So it's just funny because you see two very different sides in this whole conversation. Of Meek, someone who I thought would address it better, and then 21 Savage, who I didn't really have an opinion on it, and he addressed it so well that I think it probably helped everyone in the room. And the one who benefited the most from this coming out and everything is Ak. Like, Ak looks decent through the conversation. 21 Savage makes him sound so much better. There are multiple artists who essentially defend for him. So
without hearing the rest of this conversation, I would have assumed 21 Savage actually benefits the most from this conversation, just with the camaraderie that he showed. You know, every time he opens his mouth to speak on situations like this, he's selective on what he talks about. You feel me? He doesn't open his mouth to say too much bullshit, especially these days. I think this really paints him in a positive light and makes him almost look like an OG. Like he's talking to act like Lil Bro type shit. Like, listen to that. I'm not, and that's funny, but everybody needs.
No, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm laughing.
You need to be held accountable. You need somebody who's going to talk to you in a way that they're not just going to pin it on you. I'm going to show you an example of how I'm guilty of this too, and then you might see what you're actually doing. And 21 Savage, somebody that came from that life. You feel me? He had to deal with these before the internet blogs were covering it. So I think it's great of him to share some of the wisdom that he's gained throughout this journey.
No doubt, no doubt. So yeah, if you want to get in on the Clubhouse game, you got to sign up, and they'll apparently send you a link. Like I said, it's invite only. It's some bullshit, but hop on it soon if you want. It's a new little social media app. Sheridan, they'll probably ban you the second you get accepted. So probably save your time.
I know dudes selling spots if you're interested.
Yeah, there you go. That's the wave, bro. Because
can you get me verified too?
Can you get you verified? If you put your name as #1 Barb, I think we might be able to get something.
Yeah, we might be able to pull that off, bro. But if you get a chance to, you could search up the conversation on YouTube. It's very interesting to hear. I would love a podcast of just hip-hop artists talking to each other about bullshit all day. And I think that's why Clubhouse will stay popular, is because these conversations are very interesting just to sort of get a sneak peek into. So interesting stuff there. That's all the news that we have for this week. But Corey, you're the guest this week, not only as a friend of the show, but you have a project coming this Friday. We're going to discuss that. But before we do that, Corey has a preview of a music video off the project. The title of the track is Belief. This video is shot by Zakai Scar, right, Corey?
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and play a minute snippet of that. Give me just a minute to get it set up for everybody, and then we'll talk about it and the project with Corey in just a minute. Let's get it. We got the clip dialed up, so here we go.
Just sip some coffee while thinking about suicide. Every day for me is literally do or die. Just keep deciding to do it till my head toward the grass and just try to keep moving. Call it seasonal, but I feel this year round. Always a lot less when I have you around. And sometimes I wonder why she loves me. 22 chasing dreams that seem so far above me. You call me cold, I think my temperature's adjusting. These blogs say I'm hot, but nothing's quite bubbling. Whatever, I'll keep testing the water and try to do better than what was done by my father. 40 hours of music, 50 hours of work, trying to find time to make my people feel they first. All this on top of my mental state getting worse. It got me smoking more just to sleep through the hurt.
There we go. We got that preview. Yo, that was dope. I really, really like that, bro. And it makes me excited to see the whole video. It makes me excited to see the whole project. What'd you guys think of that preview before we talk about the project even?
After hearing after hearing the project last night in totality, mental health is such a prevalent theme throughout the project. I think this is your most vulnerable piece of work, and to see you visually depict that is nuts. I think the contrast of what you were doing, I don't know. When I first saw the knife, I thought I missed something. You feel me? I was like, wait, he's brushing this, that's a knife? And then when you keep going on with the thing, that was crazy, bro. We haven't spoke about this at all. You ain't tell me nothing about this, so this is a first impression type shit. You have me on the edge of my seat waiting for that video.
Yeah,
No doubt.
I'm super excited. I've seen the preview before, and this was my favorite. Like, I've seen it a couple times, and this was my favorite time watching it. Like, I just feel like I'm the same way as Anthony, and I've seen it a bunch of times. I'm so excited to see the finished product, and I think the album is gonna really show a lot of people how good you are and how much better you've gotten.
Yeah, I think just from a creative element, like to see what you've put together there is crazy.
Yeah, the concept for the video, Brian and I had sat down and wrote the script out. So like, this is the first time that I've even done script writing or anything. So kind of the concept of the video was like a day in the life of a person with like suicidal ideation. So the day kind of, like, I'm looking at normal household things and how they could remind me of just ending the day where it started. So the idea is like each time I have one of these like ideations, it's kind of like Groundhog's Day. The day will restart, and it'll go back through just to kind of give the viewer like a feeling of how long just a morning could feel when you're feeling, major depressive disorder. You know what I mean? At its worst, just how shitty that can be for a whole day. And that was just the morning, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's just kind of the concept of the video.
That's dope.
That just going the extra mile for that to have the extra element of creativity within this video and have a script written out and putting the time into that. It delivered really, really well. Like, you as a viewer, you are automatically within the first couple seconds, like Ant said, when it switches from the toothbrush to a knife, you're like, what's going on? And the more it continues, the more you understand what's going on, and it, because of how real it is, it's very impactful. And then the music obviously plays together with it really well as well. So and especially after listening to the project, that's what's great too. You consume the project, you know the theme of what's going on, and then you see this clip and you're like, all right. So it's really, really dope. And as a consumer, I appreciate the effort you put in just the video. Like, it has me excited for that when that drops, and then you have a project coming before that as well. So
Yeah, no doubt.
When is the video slated to release?
So it's gonna release on Zakai's page on the 20th, so 2 days after the project drops. I'll give it a very short breath before the video, but the video is supposed to accompany the project, because I feel it, as you guys have said, embodies a lot of the themes, but I just want to give it a couple of days to, breathe for a couple of the core people who listen to me to hear the project, and then
use the video to promote the project and get some new listeners. That's really dope, bro. The concept alone makes it one of the more intriguing videos I've seen from Upstate this year, and maybe as a whole. I'm excited to see how it plays out, because you could have a piece of gold on your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
no doubt. I hope so.
Agree.
And so with this project, how much did the pandemic play into your release schedule in general? Because last year you were aiming to release, I believe, a project every few months, every quarter, and then this year that obviously shifted. Was it the pandemic that inspired that, or was it something else?
My son wasn't even going to drop a project this year, right?
Yeah, Ryan had talked me into it. So I dropped so much music last year that I felt. And I don't even know how Ant's doing this right now. He's made like a project a month. But I guess I dropped so much music last year that I felt kind of like bogged down creatively. Like I wasn't really able to come up with like new ideas, anything that felt like honest to me, or be able to push my boundaries at all. I wasn't able to create anything where I felt like I was making a leap in skill. So I really wanted to take a break, and I told Brian that I just wanted to spend this year making singles and then drop a single like every week for like 2021. I really just wanted to take this year off. But Ryan told me, he was like, if you were to make a project, what would you want to do? He said, fuck what like other people think about like your music or what's popping right now. What type of music would you want to make? And I was like, I would like to take it back to the 90s, do some like old school boom bap shit, but just do me over it. So that's really what I did. I just took this and made a passion project this year. I didn't really give a fuck about what people wanted to hear. I just made what I wanted to hear.
And how correlated do you think that is to you making your best project of work?
I ended up, I feel like this came out as my best piece of work. And I honestly think that just me taking a look at the music that inspired me most and studying that when creating this project, and also just, looking back at the pieces of music that I've made in my past that I'm most proud of, and incorporating that into this project, it just helped me grow a lot. I just wanted to, do something similar to what I did on my first mixtape, The Things That Trouble Me, on being like completely like vulnerable, open, honest about like my emotions, things I go through, because that's just like who I am artistically. I use music as a way to vent. So I really just wanted to take, what I did on The Things That Trouble Me, but mix it with just more music that I listen to on the day-to-day, and update it with, better delivery, better flows, better song structure.
No question your delivery is better on this project. That's one thing I want to shout out. Personally, me and Sheridan were talking about this earlier. Self-love is fucking unbelievable. I think that I don't know how you chose Belief, or not how, but why you chose Belief to be the first video, if you plan to shoot more videos down the line. But there's there's so many tracks on this project that deserve a really good visual behind it, especially if you could come up with themes and scripts as ones like this. You feel me? I think if that could really push this project to a different type of threshold.
Yeah,
The crazy thing
Self-love's
is that
crazy.
you guys say that, but I almost cut Self-Love off the project. Like, it
Wow,
almost
really?
didn't make it.
That
Yeah.
does surprise me. I know that feeling.
But yeah. For me, I think after a while, like, because I've never sat on a project for this long, you just listen to like 10 tracks for so long that you've overanalyzed them. So it's nice to hear other people's opinions on them. But like, Self-Love almost did not make the project at all.
It's dope to hear too. Just you talk about how you put together this project in terms of like doing more of the boom bap style with the style you utilized in terms of content from the things that troubled me, because that's really what I felt in listening to it. I'm like, this is Corey speaking about him and doing the emotional side while also addressing it sort of in a different way than I hear in a lot of hip hop. I don't hear a lot of that vulnerability in old school boom bap hip hop when I listen to it, at least. So to hear to hear you throw that spin on it is dope.
Mental health wasn't as widely accepted or talked about, especially in the Black community, until the past 10 years, I want to say, even like 5, you feel me? Hip hop, when you talk about old school tracks, it's like Suicidal Thoughts, you feel me, by Big. KRS-One had a couple tracks. Pac talked about it briefly, just mental health and the state of the culture. But Andrew's right. The way that you articulate it over boom bap beats is something that I've never really heard. You feel me? It's very, very different.
Yeah, and I just wanted to not only stay honest to me, but stay honest to the style while adding my own spin on it. So I also really wanted to focus on just penmanship and lyricism. And like when like anybody who's a fan of hip hop hears my project, they'll hear a track like fucking IEP that tells an insane story about my entire life, and then get hit with a track like Pride at the end of the project that just has like consistent punchlines, one-liners that are just witty and insane. So I just really wanted to provide like that spectrum for myself that I feel like I haven't been able to show correctly on the project so far, but I managed to deliver it this time.
From the first song that you wrote to when you uploaded it to streaming platforms, how long did that take?
I probably started in April and uploaded in October.
Okay. That's shit. Let's get it, boy. That's a good 6 months right there.
Yeah. It took me a while, and then after that, it's just been focusing on. I wanted to give myself enough, like a whole year, like enough space to really focus on a rollout as well. That's why the video is my first concept video. I wanted to take time and think about that. I have another video ready to be scripted out that I want to shoot in January for one of the tracks off the project as well. So I just want everything to as much work, because I feel like last year, like, I dropped 5 projects, but you know, like, the rollout was like whatever the fuck for all of them. But as much work and creativity as I put in the music, I want to provide in the visuals, in the music video, in, you know, the promotion of the project as well. Yeah. Just make it all around extremely creative, so you feel the aesthetic, the energy, and what I'm trying to say to the fullest.
This
is the first project where I've done that, or tried to do that.
Is that a collective thing for all of Dim 136 this year, to everyone slow down? Was there a moment where all of you sat down and were like, we all need to do stuff different? Because it seems like last year, most of you guys were kind of doing the same thing in terms of releasing a lot of content. This year, you all slowed down, took your time, and released one really good body of work each, it feels like.
I think why that happened, and it wasn't a planned thing, but if I were to speculate, I think last year was the first year that we had fully completed the home studio. You feel me? So I feel like a lot of artists in 136 have never had the opportunity to just record whenever the fuck they want. So we just really went crazy in like having the freedom to create. And now I think we're used to having that freedom. We know it's there. It's a safe thing. You know, it's secure. Our studio's never going to be taken away from us. Money's never going to be a fucking issue. Like, I'm sitting in the studio right now. JJ, anybody can pull up anytime. So it's more about, okay, like, we're safe. We can record. We can do that whenever we want. Now let's focus on being more calculated and improving ourselves. We don't have to, there's no reason to rush and make so much music. Only record when we're ready or when we have something that's worth
And so has the creative process in general changed when you guys get together now? It's just totally, at least a little bit different?
Yeah, I think so. And I think this is like not like anybody has stopped working. Like, we're all, I think, working at it at a similar pace, but I think we're just being more selective with what we release and what we put out there to the public.
And how did that change it for you this year in terms of just working with those guys in a different way, and then other artists outside the group? Because I know you have at least Zoe featured on the project from someone that you worked with outside the group. So,
wait, what was the question again? My fault.
No, you're good. So how has working with those guys changed your attack at music? Like, did working with Zoe, did you pick something up different, or just working with JJ more or whatever?
I think, as usual, anytime I get in the studio with any other artist, I'll pick something up from them, and it'll influence me in a way. The situation with Zoe, I didn't really spend too much time in the studio with him. He pulled up for like one day, but it was just really dope seeing, you know, that every artist has like a different technique in the way they record, how they deliver shit, how they want their shit mixed, how they do their ad-libs, like everything. So it's always dope to watch that and see how it goes. But I've been a fan of Zoe like locally for like a long time, so it was just really dope to finally get him on a project. I looked at that as like a cosign from an artist that I really fuck with, so I was just proud to have him on the project.
And what'd you think when you heard that verse? Because he came with it, bro. He didn't give you no bullshit.
No, he did not. He did not. I heard that verse and I was hyped as fuck. Like, he bodied it. He bodied it.
That's what's up.
Zoe's no slouch.
Not at all. I knew I had to come with something crazy to send him, or I'd get fucking renegated.
Renegated. That's funny. It's dope to see that connection be made, man. When I looked on Snap or Instagram, I forget what it was, and saw that Zoe was in the booth, I was like, no fucking way. No.
It was a cool session. I was actually there. I got to watch it.
Weird flex, but okay.
I mean, how he like said it at the end is how I heard it the whole time. Like,
I was there. Nah, that's dope, Corey. I'm really looking forward to the project. It's titled For Anyone. Do you want to break down the name or how that came together?
Yeah, I think I pulled up with Ryan, and Ryan's like a huge part of like the process of making this album, no pun intended. But I talked to him, and he's like very much, I guess, I look to him a lot to validate my feelings on what I'm thinking. I look to him for direction a lot of times. So I pulled up to him and I was like, yo, bro, so I'm like, we're working on this project. We had no name for it. We just had a bunch of like heavy sampled boom bap beats with samples that he found from some weird Reddit page. So I was like, I'm thinking about calling this For Anyone Who'll Listen. And he said, fuck that, shorten it. I was like, he said, call it For Anyone. And he said, just simple. Just add the ellipses, For Anyone. I argued with him for a little bit about it. And then I was like, I actually like that after I slept on it for a day. And I was like, I actually like that. So I'll take it and I'll use it. So
it's good to have that creative mind and someone that you trust to bounce stuff off of, and not just like throw something at them and hope to get immediate validation. Once you got something that was different, you took the time to sleep on it and take his word and then utilize it in the long run. And I think I'm with him. I like the name For Anyone. I think the shorter name is a lot easier for people to take in. So I fuck with it. And like I said, it's
Easier
very
to type
nice.
into streaming services.
Yeah, no doubt. It's
Exactly.
nice to have that person there that you can work with and not just create music, but also help create the path of it, because the name is a big deal. So
No doubt.
Did you pitch any of these songs to an editorial?
I got some shit set up for Submit Hub, but I'm gonna be honest, because of how little support I've gotten on like the fucking Spotify submissions, I just did not do shit. I did not submit it to Spotify.
All right, not to call you out, but just for any fucking artist that's submitting a project, especially because you submitted yours in October, bro. If you give them 4 to 6 weeks to choose one song, and you can only select one, so you got pick 1 out of 10, which is honestly hard. But you give them almost 2 months to find a playlist for your shit, your chances increase exponentially. A lot of people submit their shit 2 weeks in advance and then get upset when it doesn't get picked for a playlist, but they recommend 4 to 6 weeks. If you get 8 to 10 weeks and you really give them mad long to find a playlist for you, your chances increase exponentially. So I was just curious because you got a lot of different vibes on this. I know we talked about the old school flavor, but that's not the only thing that there is on this project. You dabble in a couple different sounds.
It really is for anyone in terms of like, I understand the name in terms of that too, because you're trying to attack different markets of people who are going to tune in. So,
well, yeah, and also I think the name For Anyone has grown on me for the project because of how vulnerable I get with it. I think a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about on the project could be extremely relatable. I think a lot of people have dealt with depression, confidence issues, problems with family, friends, etc. So relationship issues, maybe being too focused on work, like I talk about in this project. So I feel like when the title says For Anyone, it's more so talking about the subject matter. I feel like I'm just trying to make a relatable project for people to just feel.
Facts. And that is definitely something I could agree with, because in terms of listening to this project, there were many tracks where I'm listening to it and I can relate to the subject matter and the content of what you're saying, especially someone who has dealt with that type of shit. And I think that's why I really enjoyed this project, and you sort of reverting back to some of the stuff I had first heard from you is to just because that's what I could relate to. And so I really like this project. I'm really excited to listen to it without having to click between tracks on Google Drive. I'm excited to play it from top to bottom on Spotify when it drops this Friday. So make sure you guys get those pre-save links and stream For Anyone when it drops this Friday, December 18th. We are going to play some local tracks. Thank you, Corey, for discussing the project with us, though, and previewing that video, because I'm really excited for the video to drop. I think people are going to be really excited for it to drop when it finally does. So I'm glad that we got to preview it, but we're going to play some local tracks. And Corey, as our guest, you're up first, and you brought us something from the project, right?
Yeah.
Give me 1 second. I got to get it lined up. All right. Yeah, what song are we playing, Corey?
We got Death.
Got Death featuring Process. Let's get it.
As far as the flow. Young niggas fresh to death. While I'm clean to the morgue, I check your toe tag, boy. That's the price you can't afford. I'm in the Lamborghini, y'all ride Chryslers and Ford. Y'all hear me and y'all see me from the south to the north. Y'all say you got the cash, it's just allowance from your chores. And I put a bitch up like I'm paying room and board. Nursery rhymes, Jesus, you praying to the Lord that these bullets don't hit you and rattle up through your gourd. All that shit that you talking, better say it with your chest. And the kind of moves you making, well, it's checkers to my chest. What's a pawn to a king? Have you hanging from your neck? In the royal courtyard and have your family pay the debt. What's a night to a gorilla when they banging for the set? I never stress over the ops, I get good sleep, give it a rest. And your squad be having nightmares cause my Freddy carry text. And y'all said you want me dead, no looking back. I never check and those that never hit your account. You keep playing around with death. You keep playing around with death. You keep playing around with death, and those that never hit your account, you keep playing around with death.
I know some homies bang the red, couple nines, couple six, extra lucky 7 sent to heaven. You're worried about a bid. Who's selling cause they wanna do it? Survival gave no options to it. Homie, keep a rocket. If he launch, he in the cell that's moonlit. Call these kids demon youth. They doing what you teach them to, especially when the dealers are the only ones who win a coup. Everyone wanna blame the people, no one wanna blame the system. Propaganda twist who's evil, make it so you hate the victim. Kids putting pounds on a scale for most of the day. I mean, mama always said good things come to those who wait, but I don't think that's how she meant it. They mixing with the streets so long that they cemented in a system that's designed to create long-term oppression. The only thing to do is find a stove to make some bread in. They throw kids to the wolves and wish them all the best. How you blame the victim for playing around with death? For playing around with death. How you blame the victim for playing around with death?
And that's Death from Corey Loveless. That was a really dope track. That's a really dope track off the upcoming project. We could get into the fact of where we talk about Corey Loveless growth, like we always do. Every time we play a Corey track, we talking about Corey's growth. But Corey has to get out of here. He's got some work to do. So we're going to send Corey on his way. We appreciate you previewing that track for us, bro. We appreciate you chopping it up with us and discussing the project, as always. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, my God.
Thank you, Corey. Good to talk to you,
Thank
bro.
you for having me. Yeah, I just gotta head to work. It sucks. I got a job. It's awful.
Nah, you good, bro. Let them know where they can find you on social media, and we'll make sure to drop that pre-save link in the comments when we're playing this.
The @ has changed, so you can find me on all social media at Loveless_136. Make sure to check out the project this Friday, December 18th. I'll have the pre-save links up soon. I've been slacking on that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Looking forward to it, Corey. Looking forward to it. Thank you for chopping it up with us.
Good shit,
Thank
brother.
you, man.
Peace.
Peace.
See you soon.
Great conversation. Great conversation. What'd you guys think of that track?
And I put a bitch up like I'm paying Ruben Board. I love that. I think he got also one of Process's best rap verses.
Mm-hmm.
Corey did his thing. Really slow, eerie vibe. Bar for bar, it was crazy. The concept was dope. How you blame the victim for playing around with death. It's a lot of quotables. You feel me? And I know you mentioned about Corey's progress like we always do on the track, but I can't say enough how solidified and refined his flow got on this. Like, there's obviously still places he can improve, but it looks like he's going to. You feel me? Like he snapped. A lot of these tracks getting better and better, and it's noticeable. It's not just like slight one step forward and then one step forward. Like, he's taking leaps.
It's almost crazy how much better he gets as much as we talk about it, because it's every time we talk about him where we literally see growth. Like, it's no bullshit. It's not just because we're cool with Corey. It's because we actually hear it in the music. And so that's why I really like that track too. I'm glad that he picked that one, because I think that it's a different sound from Process kind of in general. Like, I've probably heard Process like that, but like you said, Ant, it was one of the better rap verses from Process. So a great
He's got so much to show y'all.
And to see the transition in sound from Corey, like to go from Process to the way Corey sounded in that, I really liked as well. Like, they blend together so well. So
it reminded me, it was like Earl-esque, like old Earl.
That's exactly what that song gave, like the type of vibes that song gave me since the first time I heard it. There's like one moment specifically, and I can't remember where, but it's like kind of in the middle of the song where Corey, like towards the beginning of Corey's verse, where like the beat kind of cuts out a little bit, and I'm like, bro, that's so Earl.
Yeah, man, that's a good sound to be.
And that's his. I mean, and it's clear like that's his favorite artist. I mean, favorite rapper. I'm pretty sure that's his favorite rapper.
I didn't even know that. It makes perfect sense though.
Yeah, no doubt. I've got the next track lined up for us. I've got something from my guy G Scoff. It's called Motion from G Scaffa. We're about to play. He's got a project dropping, I believe, on the 24th, and another deluxe project dropping maybe prior to then. I'm not exactly certain on that, but I know he's got a project dropping on the 24th. We're going to go ahead and play Motion, and then we'll talk about that. Let's get it.
Keep it in motion, ready to go. From the door, lay on the floor. You rhyme, and you're like, oh, I don't believe. I said more. High again, beats. Keep it in motion, ready to go. Flow like the ocean, stay in the floor. She wanna ride me and drive the boat. Might say the least, but I do the most. Just took a loss for them out to bounce back. Keep them paper in that bag and it's not a backpack. I'm just improving where I lack at. I'm just a nigga on a mission, you can't stop that. Coolin' in a spot where I can kick my feet up. Always catch me chillin' with my little diva. Give her all the calls, she like to swipe the visas. Yeah, she lick it good, that's my little eater. Keep my phone on the charger, I know the money calling. Baby all up on my balls like my name is Spalding. They don't wanna see me up, they rather see me falling. Standing on what I said, no turning back, we all in. Get the job done by myself, not talking masturbating. Like that money coming fast, I ain't got time for waiting. Stay up on my grind, they like that boy is skating. Told Shorty FaceTime me the next time that she naked. And I'ma watch her shake it. And I'ma watch her shake it. I'm just like, oh, now let's go. High again, beats. Keep it in motion, ready to go. Flow like the ocean, stay in the floor. She wanna ride me and drive the boat. Might say the least, but I do the most. Just took a loss for them out to bounce back. Keep them paper in that bag and it's not a backpack. I'm just improving where I lack at. I'm just a nigga on a mission, you can't stop that. Keep it in motion, ready to go. Flow like the ocean, stay in the floor. She wanna ride me and drive the boat. Might say the least, but I do the most. Just took a loss, but I'm about to bounce back. Keeping paper in that bag and it's not a backpack. I'm just improving where I lack at. I'm just a nigga on a mission, you can't stop that. Ready to go.
And that's Motion from G Scaffa. I like that track, but I also think that is one of I think that's one prior to his project that is a little bit less serious. There's some comedic lines in there, a little bit of fun in there, but I like the bop to it. What do you guys think?
His melodies are always on point. You feel me? I can't remember any song that I've ever heard by Scaff where I'm like, damn, this hook isn't fucking ridiculous. You feel me? His hook game is crazy. He always has a crazy voice when he comes on a track. Whenever I hear a masturbation line or a masturbating line, I do cringe. I'm not gonna hold you. It's not my number one favorite Scaff track, but I'm excited for whatever project he has coming. The shit was fire. I had a little bop to it. And it's a wide demographic of people that I can see that track appealing to. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually kind of really like that track. And I sometimes, I like Scaff a lot, but sometimes don't always love how he rides a beat. This one, I felt like he was really tight with the melodies, and he was really tight on the verses. And honestly, the lines they threw me off for sure, but they made me laugh, and that makes me want to like listen to it again. So like that's like, and that's definitely a big demographic. I mean, I like making songs that make people laugh too. So like that, some of those lines were, I wouldn't say that I cringed. I just laughed. Like I was like, whoa. I was like, whoa. He just said that.
I think it's a personal thing. Whether it's Wayne, whether it's Eminem, whether it's Scaff, I hear masturbate on the track and I'm just like,
So, for me, it's not even, for me, it's when people talk about shit or like something like, oh, I'm like pooping, like, I'm like, what the
That's
fuck?
why that's the J. Cole bias right there, yep.
Don't make sense now.
He'd be making too many shit references. No, I like this track, though, because it's a lot of fun. I think that I like the sound. So I think that, but I can agree to the fact that the lines are funny, and I hope that's the intention. If that's not the intention, then maybe there's an issue. But I think that it's meant to be funny. This is more meant to be like a laid-back track to see like what he can do just melodically, and the sound is great. So
I think it's meant to be fun. I don't think it's meant to be necessarily funny. You know what I mean? I think it's more so to just funny. You might exactly. You might get a snigger or two out of the verses, but yeah. The track was fire. Always a dope hook. When
That's
Scat
why I'm
song.
excited for the project that he's releasing on the 24th. He seems to be putting more energy behind the release, which makes me excited for the project because he makes really good music. And some of the music that I most enjoy listening to from him was pulled off of streaming services, and I believe that's part of the deluxe that he's going to re-release is going to be mostly featuring tracks that have been pulled off that people really fuck with, which I think is a great idea. If you have a situation where whatever your distributor pulled off certain tracks and you only want to release certain ones that you know performed well, I think that's actually because I like Scoff's like his melodic sounds. That I don't feel like we get a whole lot of that from everyone in Upstate. I think there are a lot of like rappers, but what he does, there's not a whole lot of, and so I'm excited to hear what he's bringing.
Especially how well he executes it most of the time.
Absolutely. And we got one more track to play today. What you got lined up for us, bro? Sheridan, I didn't get yours in time, bro. I did not get yours lined up. But we got one more from Ant. What we got?
I got a track called Familia. It's actually this artist is by his name's Tapiro. He lives in Cali. He came to Ithaca and we made a track together a couple years ago. He's my friend's cousin. And I never played him on this track on the show because he's not necessarily an Upstate artist. But I was listening to this track last night, and when you said send a track in, I just wanted to show some love real quick. He's a really dope artist, and not to bring race into it. I'm not sure this is a great song to exemplify that, but I've heard very few white rappers with a presence like him and go about music how he does. And that's not a slight or a crazy ass compliment. That's to talk about his uniqueness. You feel me? He's found a lane that I think really works for him. And this is just some shit we put together a little bit ago.
Facts. Let's get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Young Dons. Yeah. I pray to God. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Vivid colors of a heavyweight dawn. Took it next level, no elevators. Cement shoes, use gravitation. Timberland boots, staying fresh, don't hate on it. Cooking pastas, double entendres. Life of a dog, yet I'm cooler than Fonz's. 209 raised young dude, had to process. Wheels keep turning like Tour de France contest. When you flowing, all I'm hearing is nonsense. Sounding so familiar without the right context. Slang stories of a selling out artist. Bragging about drugs and your rap's unconscious. Have you seen the other side of the train tracks? Veins interacting with permanent pain in the vascular. Y'all vampires, energy Draculas. Now I'm way up in the atmosphere. Making moves. All movements, I'm doing, I'm feeling the music. Yeah, I'm feeling the music. Ain't no illusions, I do what I do, yeah. And we in the building, we're making the move. Making moves. Yeah, that's all I do, yeah. It's been a long time, but I ain't one to hold on. Most of y'all cats is stopping to take photos. Oh no, not one to get with the program. Lean on no one, said myself. Yeah, I'm a pro now. Rely on I, no dollar signs. Slow down, put one in the sky. It's Clementine's whole clouds. Yeah, I got the pro bounce. Clemenza hold the keys to the fleets. Yeah, I'm De Niro with the clout. Wow, homie, got whatever you need. We in a league of our own. No elite shit a need for the throne. I'm in my zone. Young Don Corleone used to push OZs off the landline phone. I'm gone.
I just want a peaceful death. All this work that we put in, I deserve it when I need some rest. I was never the good guy. Whether my secrets get released or kept, my legacy will be the best. Nigga, I know what the streets expect, but we connect from east to west, so homie, I just need respect. Pay a tax when the feet collect. Making money with my feet up easy, I ain't even re-up yet. You got greedy your heart and I know what evil do. I had to cut the connection and that's from me to you. You start speaking the truth and they don't believe in you. You gotta give them some proof and give them the reason to. Came up with the same bros up on the same streets. The money made me change clothes but never changed me. Day ones will remain close. Keep your circle tight. Let's raise a toast, chase for the goat shit.
Making moves. All movements, I'm doing, I'm feeling the music. Yeah, I'm feeling the music. Ain't no illusions, I do what I do, yeah. And we in the building, we're making the move. moves, making moves. Yeah, that's all I do, yeah. That's all I do.
And that's Familia from Ty Piro featuring Anthony Cannon, our guy. That was dope, bro. And you said this was a little bit older, right?
Yeah, this is maybe 2+ years old. He's a phenomenal artist. He's somebody that's a little bit older. I think he's approaching 30. But he just dropped a project that's straight homage to his cousin that passed. One of my best friends, Sam, his brother Jack was a local rapper out in Ithaca, really talented dude, passed away about a year or so ago. Super unfortunate situation. And Tapiro dropped a project. It's named Sousa, named right after dude's rap name when he passed. I've never heard a whole body of work pay homage to a lost relative like this. And I didn't play a song off that project specifically. This is an older song that he had, but if you guys get the chance, it's called Port City. We got a track on his next project, on his last project. Project is called Sousa. Every song, like I dead ass dropped tears, and I also know Jack. I was very close with him when he passed. So it's gonna resonate differently with me. But the emotion that he's capable of captivating is unbelievable, and he can get that Jack Harlow bounce too, when you're just like having fun riding on a track. Super West Coast cat. So I just threw one of those old school sounding tracks that he has on there.
Yeah, that was dope. I really like that, and your verse was awesome too. When your verse ended and his like part came in, it was really dope. I liked how both of y'all attacked the beat. I'm definitely gonna check out more of his music, and I'm excited to check out that album about his relative.
I'll send you guys a couple tracks from that, and you could decide if you want to listen to more of it. I'll drop the link in the comments when this is playing. If you get the chance, check it out. It's beautiful.
Yeah, dude, that's dope. I'm excited to check it out because he's someone I'm unfamiliar with, but that was a really dope track. Like I really like that. And sometimes you guys get on here and you play tracks featuring yourselves, and it's only a dope track because it's featuring yourselves. This is not necessarily that situation. I really fuck with that track based upon both artists on it. Like that was really dope.
I didn't really. I felt weird about playing a track that I was featured on, but I didn't give a fuck that my verse was on this. I wanted to play this because of him. Mm-hmm. When he said, Chris Clemenza with the keys, Young De Niro with the clout. Wow, I'm in the league. Yo, he had so many Godfather.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
Facts. That was dope. That was really dope. Looking forward to hearing more from him. So like you said, make sure you link us that. We've wrapped up everything. We've talked to Corey. We've talked about Clubhouse. We've talked about all kinds of hip-hop related stuff. Sheridan, what you got coming? Where can they find you on social media? All that good stuff.
Well, I'm done with Facebook, so you can't find me on Facebook anymore. Nah, I'm still there, but I'm banned for a while.
Again,
all my accounts.
Dude, last week your little thing said unbanned soon. I had to change it to rebanned. Fucked up.
That's crazy. Yeah, no, I'm definitely banned.
Locked up.
Yeah. Yeah, nah, you can find me on Twitter though, at Sheridan Cartier, on Instagram as well, at Sheridan Cartier. I'm gonna have to get on Clubhouse. I'm gonna run that shit. Snapchat at BallerKidYouKnow, with no W. I be posting rants now, so you
big
can
rants,
get up on that. Yeah. Other than that, I got lots of music coming next year.
Big news coming soon. Big news coming soon.
I got a session with D Brown the day that this episode's gonna air, actually. So I'm excited for that. It's gonna be a lot of stuff going on. Just hold up. What you got, Ant?
Just hold up. Well, I got Cannon's Corner banging on streaming platforms right now. I'm still waiting for the video. You feel me? I got it ready. I'm going to let it go whenever I feel it's necessary. St. Cannon is uploaded to streaming platforms. I'm going to, like the people on my mailing list got the pre-save link already. I will make the pre-save link publicly available ASAP. I don't want to give a date yet because the same day I drop the pre-save link, I have to drop the cover. And that's something that I'm dreading because this cover is so fire. I just want it for personal use. You feel me? I don't even want people looking at it yet. But we're gonna start the promo. I'm about to shoot another video this week for St. Cannon, so we got a couple lined up for you guys. I'm very, very excited. Make sure to go stream Cartel as well. The video is still doing well on YouTube. You can find it exclusively there. I might bring it back to something like Apple Music like Sheridan did, but I like it concentrated on one platform. So follow me at Anthony Cannon on Instagram. On Twitter, you'll find me at Anthony14Rapper, and just run those streams up. I appreciate you guys rocking with me. And if you tuned into the lives the other day, it was probably the best Instagram live I've ever had. We had 100 people tune in throughout the time.
That's what's up.
And that it was shit. The love was real. So I'm glad that you guys fuck with the new music. I can't wait to get it out to you.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Next week, we are taking the week off for Christmas. On December 23rd, there will be no episode, but we will be back on December 30th with a special episode. We're going to talk about our top 10 albums of the year, personal albums, what we thought. So make sure y'all tune in for that one. That one's going to be a lot of fun. Probably a lot of controversy there, a lot of arguing. Sheridan's going to get real excited, real hyped up that we don't got the right
Wait,
albums
are we doing hip hop or just albums period?
Just albums period. So that way we can make fun of the fact that you got Taylor Swift and everyone else listed above all these rappers. Yeah. Your top 10's going to suck. Sheridan's top 10 sucks.
Taylor,
Tattletales. Bro, Tattletales is not in my top 50.
Taylor Swift, Tattletales.
And I like
Taylor
Tattletales.
Swift. So boom. Yeah, tune into that. That's going to be a fun episode on December 30th. That's going to be a lot of fun. And that's your deadline to submit for the next competition episode. So make sure you get those sent in to Upstate.Aesthetic.Ac at gmail.com. I'll make sure to post that in the comments so you guys can submit. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to air on January 6th. So make sure you guys get those submitted in time. And otherwise, that really wraps everything up. Make sure you guys follow, like Upstate Aesthetic on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram and on Twitter. It's the NY Aesthetic on Twitter because Upstate Aesthetic's just a little too long for Twitter. Until next week, or 2 weeks from now. I lied. We'll see you guys. We're going to play a little bit of Chicken Spot and get out of here.
Let's get it. Have a good one, y'all.
Hey, yo, I pulled up to the chicken spot. Got a 6-piece, one biscuit and a stupid watch. Don't make me pull the biscuit out, the shit get stupid watch. Since when they sell Rolex at a BB spots? Goddamn, man, I could never tell you. I ain't rolling